So I saw Emerald Fennell's version of Wuthering Heights tonight. She directed it. Well, first of all, this isn't really the book. It is the book, but it kind of misses the point of the book. It's very modernist. It doesn't really have any sense of time or place in it. It doesn't feel at all like 19th century Yorkshire. It has none of the manners of Britain in that era. It's quite dehumanising of the era and of the people. It doesn't feel in any way realistic, very stylised, and it's missing a lot of the key points which gives it the emotional power it should have. I like this book, I really like this book, and I've always wanted there to be a good adaptation of it. This isn't it. Jacob Elordi, to be fair, is very good. Margot Robbie is also very good. The problem is with things like the other casting and Linton is a nothing burger, and I know he's supposed to be a nothing burger, but even more so, the kind of complexities of the situation are completely ignored. Linton's ward, Isabella, her story, which is a tragedy, becomes like a comedy. She's just made fun of, and she's turned into this little girl slash S&M enthusiast. And it's like, really? So Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, they shed lots of tears, they do their job. But you can only do so much with something where the director has this vision where she just wants to bastardise it or turn it in its head or put her own sort of slightly perverted stamp on it. You kind of wonder why she wanted to make it, probably because it has abusive relationships in it and she wanted to portray them in a sexualised way. There's some fairly pointless characters having some pointless kinky sex in it. And these kind of things these are moments that could have been spent on developing the story between Heathcliff and Cathy because it doesn't develop. See them as kids, and by the way, young Cathy is just a little psychopath. And Heathcliff is alright, seems like an alright guy all the way through, which is just another problem because in the book he's not. He's a bad guy. It's underdeveloped. The actors are good, but again, the child actors are also good. But the love between them prior to her being married to Linton is completely underdeveloped. You have no idea that these two even have feelings for each other, except they have some kind of moment where they witness some servants having some kinky sex, and then they have a little bit of feeling between them, and there's a kind of a masturbation scene. But you don't have any sense that these characters have any deep, real feelings for each other at all. And then, obviously, Cathy marries Linton, Heathcliff runs away, comes back, and then the romance starts. And she's married. Now, it's interesting, I overheard a young woman coming out of the cinema saying, why didn't they just run away together? And that shows that if you make a story like this for a modern audience and you cast it to look modern, you give it modern language. I think Martin Clune's character, the father, uses the word arsehole at some point when describing another person. He's an arsehole or something. So if you update it to make it look and feel and seem kind of modern, but you have the mores of the book, i.e. they didn't just run off together, it doesn't really sit very well. It doesn't make sense. There's no sense of the kind of genuine nature of the place or the people. It's all so fake. They're really bawdy, they're really gross and low and vulgar, they've got no manners. It's that kind of portrayal of people in the past, which is really dirty and dehumanising, which is popular sometimes, which I don't like. I know it's a possibly a people say it's a reaction to the kind of slightly cleaner versions of the past that were done in things like Pride and Prejudice. But to be honest with you, the people in the past were, I don't think they're cruder or nastier than anyone today. Also, I think they were probably much more pious, in fact. Certainly Emily Bronte and Charlotte Bronte and of that era. Apparently, the test audience for this was so shocked and disgusted by things they saw that the film got a re-edit to make it more palatable for the public. Now, I don't know the details, but I've heard that. Some people have pointed out that Fennell's very well-to-do and wealthy upbringing as an Oxford graduate and a posh public school girl might have had something to do with her degradation of ordinary people in the film, the kind of the caricature of them. Martin Clunes really caricatures Mr. Earnshaw as a drunk who pisses in his trousers and is just pathetic and awful and has no redeeming characteristics. And I think that highlights one of the other problems of this film. None of the characters are likeable. Probably the most likeable character is Heathcliff, who's actually in the book the most wickedest, awful character. I mean, some people will like it and some people will find it has feeling, but the story is cheaply told and partially told. It doesn't have the impact, despite the kind of provocation that it used to chase sales and attention. Emerald Fennell, the director, even admits it's a sort of fanfic. And this is an expensive retelling, but ripped away the setting and replaced it with what looks like a studio set with an overblown colour grading and an amalgam of images and artistic tableaus and prejudices from the director's imagination. The portrayals of sex get a little bit boring, and it fails to show the emotional journey. I mean, you get the tears and stuff, but you don't have any sense of why. And so it doesn't have the punch that the story should have and does have. And it doesn't engage with any of the themes of it. I should probably add, there was also some controversy about casting Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. I don't know why. Apparently because he was too white, although Jacob Elordi is half Basque and half English, so he's kind of the perfect casting for someone who's supposed to be a bit of a gypsy looking guy. But the people who are complaining about that are not complaining about the fact that a lot of white characters were base swapped for ethnic minorities in this adaptation. So they're not really applying that rule across the board or anything. It's not completely unenjoyable and it is arty, but it's kind of soulless, degenerate stuff. The film opens with what we're supposed to believe is the sound of people having sex. Then it reveals itself to be a man getting hanged and a savage crowd whoop and cheer and drool and laugh, including the young Kathy. And this kind of representation of humanity just continues throughout it. 2 out of 5.